I knew God existed, but I didn't think he loved me. I definitely have a genuine interest in trying to help people discover God now that I've made this. It's not a discovery. I knew God existed, but I didn't think he loved me. So now I know he loves me. And it's like I really want other people to get the opportunity to feel that as well. It's not even like, it's not because it's a requirement, but it's because I genuinely have the desire for other people to feel what I felt. And because it was so monumental to feel the love of God for the first time. For me personally, it was the first time I really felt love, period. So it was more than monumental. It wasn't just about God, it was about love, period. Didn't know it. And how do you think people, there are people out there that they're just on the fence. They don't really know what to do with God. They think they might believe, but they aren't sure if they want to make the commitment to all the extracurricular activities that they think they need to do to have God in their lives. You know, what could we say to encourage those folks really?
I think a lot of folks, there's a tremendous loneliness in the world today. Um, and it's also misconceptions. Is it what they think they need to do, or what the church really is, or I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious, i.e., I want to make God in my image, rather be crafted in the image of God. And it's just finding a community that works for the individual. Sometimes, and hopefully that, for a Catholic, hopefully that is their parish community, but not everyone. And we're much looser about where we go to church, how do we work. Um, but it's so often finding the community where you feel welcomed, where you feel nourished, is that you're nourished, you're fed,
Yeah.
and that I always find it when someone wants to invite someone to come to St. Peter, because we are a non-traditional in format. We're a German parish. National parishes never had boundaries. So technically, we don't have any geographic boundaries like a parish. But is that something that I want? I want to share what I've felt and what I've experienced. And then that's when we know we've got them. Yeah. But it's again, it's opening yourself up, being willing to um, explore the path, but it's also is doing it within the context of a faith-based community.
I think community is so important. I mean,
Our God is a community of persons. Everything that we do, we're like, "Oh, it's not good for man to be alone. I've got to make him a helpmate." I have to do this from the very, very beginning, and then that relationship with the stewardship of the garden, of creation, and all the things that our stories, our myths tell us about how we've come to understand that uh, myth is never a fairy tale. It's like it teaches us foundational truths, and those truths go from time into space. And those truths that we learn, Genesis may not be scientific, but the truths are so basic and unchanging. And that's where we draw all this information from. But it's always from the beginning, life has been lived in community, and the church is a wonder can be a wonderful place to find community.
yeah, no doubt.
And then the loneliness just doesn't seem to be dissipating. And we pull ourselves more into our podcasts and into our computers and into the privacy of like staring at a screen. Yeah, sometimes I feel sorry for young people because I see at the parish the young adults that we have
Yeah.
how they thrive, and their lives have been changed by the members, the peers that they've met. at church and experiencing church. They call them faith friends. That I never had faith friends until I came to St. Peter's. And I met this group of people that they are our best evangelizers. They're the guys who reach out, the young men and women who reach out and see a stranger at church and boom, they want to know your name. Here I want, and you're welcome. This is what we do, and you're welcome to join any of it that you want, but just keep coming back. Keep coming back.
Well, that's why the Protestants, my time in the Protestant church, the community is very close knit, once, but I had to actually get over my own inferiority complex in order to participate in that. Like this has to happen in order for this to be meaningful, and I've learned that, but also experienced it, but we need both, you know? And so if you can't go here, get a community of people who maybe they are believers and you're not.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, kinda.
That whole sense of that type of a spirituality, of forming that community and practicing to be this person that you wanna be and actually coming to live it, but also acknowledging where I need to be forgiven, where I need to forgive others, where I need to forgive myself. And so often it's okay with others, but it can be very hard to forgive myself of the things that I've done or my motivations always led me to do X, Y, and Z. And when you can't really forgive others until you forgive yourself and experience that self uh, purging, if you will, or reconciliation.
Well, that's what makes so many of the Bible stories so wonderful and beautiful in the sense of like I can relate to almost all of the stories in the Bible in one way or another. And so, you know, like I'm a Psalm 23 fanatic. I love that psalm. It fills me with joy to spend time with that psalm. And I know what David did, and yet he could have that experience with God that would allow him to write that psalm. And yet what he did with Bathsheba, and so I can kind of the Bible helped me to relieve the condemnation I had for myself, to the self-hatred because I thought I was a bad person, but we're all bad.
There's no sin that God will not forgive.
No, and he knows everyone.
But there's nothing that God is unforgivable. And that hope, like Paul says, that hope does not disappoint. And that hope never disappoints because the love of God has been poured into our hearts. And that's that love, yes. And that by that forgiveness that we receive and acknowledge, wow, I'm not the person I thought I was. And I'm not the person I can be.
And I'm not the person that he fearfully and wonderfully made me to be, right?
And I'm continuing on that journey.